Otherwise, this is all potential failure until proven otherwise. See if you get a little bit of retracement here. Actually, the mean one would be that. Is what it is. Any questions about anything so far? I know I went through a couple. I kind of ran around a couple different subjects, but just wanted to give you guys a little touch on stuff. So with this here, like using Trading Light, I usually use Trading Light on high time frame to low to look for blocks that pop in and out. So 15-minute, hey, we got some buy walls coming in at 18K, right? What is that? That's also the higher low from the move. I think that's around about where we said that we don't want to lose as far as structure when I'm on Binance Futures. So that would be the whole low of the current move, right? That's where we're seeing some buy walls. That's all I'm looking for here is I'm looking for buy walls where, and this is action structure. Excuse me, not action. This is resting orders that are in the books. Where do we have a local one? We have a big buy wall that's just popped in above us. I can go really low time frame to look at it. Really recently, like in the current minute, they've been added into this zone. So if price does come up here, what you're looking for is that if price gets pulled, which means that if the orders start disappearing as price is moving up right now. See, we had some of the 200K of Bitcoin or 200 Bitcoin got pulled from that position. So we'll see if they fail. What I look for also, most of the time I look at BitMEX just because I know so many guys there. Look at that. Like they put some in there that filled. Now there's no resting orders above us. Where there's some orders up in here. Yeah, a lot of this is algo driven. These orders here. They pulled their orders after that. Got whatever this was got filled. What's everything else doing? Yeah, almost insignificant on Bitfinex and FTX was the other one that I look at. Anything significant? Anything significant on FTX? No. Everything significant's over at 19K. Still in play. So that's what I basically do here. And then we're seeing that some of the shorts in here that people were throwing in this current price structure, they're getting liquidated a little bit. So again, that's why we said if we do get the move up, we still want the buyback. But hey, not too bad, not too shabby. So that's what I do is I use that to look at limit orders where they're existing. 19K, right? Is there anything significant? 19K? Yeah. There's some SRs that we have up there as well. This is also the floor of the previous move that we lost, right? That was the loss. That was liquidity grab before it flushed back down. That's a level that's important to regain. That's also the current level that we might reject. So if we do end up flying all the way up here, what would be a nice rejection? That all the way back down, higher low, or even back down to test structure. Eventually, at the end of the day, the only thing that's really significant for regains, again, I'm on the freaking 3-minute, right? The only thing that's significant for regains is, let's see. The weekly SRs at 19.1 and 19.3. And then, of course, what's the main regain? The weekly October Q4. At that point, there's nothing stopping this from sweeping all the liquidity in this zone. Literally nothing. If it were to come up here and then fail, that'd probably be the meanest failure I've ever seen, to be honest. But it's showing some strength, and it's got, what, 45 left on the hour, the 4 hour? So there you go. If we're getting type of reversal. Hope that answered your question a little bit. I know it was mostly what I do is with this is I look for outliers as far as liquidations, and then also for massive buy orders and sell orders that are algo driven, right? BitMEX, this is an algo driven. These are algo driven orders. Right. Where we have the main blocks, we're up at 19.5. Yeah, up here. We'll see if they get pulled if price comes up to it, but that's the main shorts as far as like structure above. And that's all I'm doing is using Confluence and a couple different things. I recommend trying Trading Light. I think it's pretty cool. I think if you guys want, I think I have a code for a free month or something. I gotta check. But also the really bullish funding rate, which is cool. We're not pulling it yet.
Hey, DJ, is this recorded? Sorry, Viking.
Yeah, I recorded it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
No worries. Yeah, but overall, I'm pretty happy with this. We're getting the buyback at the level we wanted to see. Little swing stuff that you can look at. You know, why was this a significant swing in the structure? It was a higher low. It was the lowest point of the higher low of the macro structure. Was it respected? Yeah. One deviation with multiple holds and tests that were bought back. So we know that's the level we want to regain. Same thing with swings to the downside. You're right. We have a pop up. We have a swing to the downside. What's the current low of the downswing? That's the failure. It's a little bit of a weird one, but I mean, like, let me see. Let me invert this real quick so I can do this. Something that we're bringing back to are the I don't know if for you guys that were with us from the beginning, but we were doing some courses stuff. We're revamping those right now, and one of our friends who's a CMT, we're getting him to check shit to make sure that it's like all kosher and that we're not missing major stuff. But we're also going to be doing over price projection, so this one's a pretty nuts one. So it's a crazy thing, but you can actually use a modified version of Fibonacci retracement. There's different ways to pull them to actually project price and price movement. This is what we used on the bull run on the way up, and for like Egil and some of the guys have been in for a while. You guys know us when we were pulling those things on like BNB hitting the 256 retracement. But basically, it gives you a template of where price should go based on the current stuff. Yeah, it's pretty crazy though, isn't it? Yeah, it's like everyone's like, "Why are you getting so short there?" This was probably the easiest short I think we ever took collectively as a Discord. Basically, exchanges getting super short, literally failing the fib retracement from the high. Right. Really crazy stuff, but we'll get more into that, and it's basically just pulling higher lows from current lows, which is really cool. You can do them on low time frames too, or lower time frame, excuse me. And the simplest way to explain this is that you pull these things. I'll just show you now. You're looking for the low of the move, the current low, right? Then from the next low, you're looking for from the low, you look for the next high, and you pull it from the next high to the higher low, which means there must be a low created, then a high, and then the higher low, and then you pull it. Oh, wrong tool. Going along, baby. Test again. Failure. Tap test, like over and over and over again. Lose the floor. Fail back below. And now that we played it out so much, it's almost not relevant because we've created like new local levels. So you can really do this from like the local highs and lows as well. That's where it becomes powerful, is like using it lower time frame. And there's no way I've found or we've even conceived yet of being able to automatically pull these things, unfortunately. But it's pretty interesting, I think, just in general.
Hey, Viking, can you be so kind to look at DOT?
Yeah, I can look at DOT, sure.
Thanks, man.
There we go. So they hold. Let's look at the 1 hour. There you go. Every level, almost to the dot. Pretty crazy stuff. Yeah, like we said, we want to see the gain. So until we see the gain, nothing really matters. I'll swing over to the dot. I'm going to end the recording there, though. We can just do like a little TA sesh if you guys want to, or for a couple of minutes if you guys have any questions.
Hey, gentlemen, I'll be done with work around 1 p.m. here, which is like an hour and a half from now. If Dejo, Lauren, and one of the guys here want to be live to go through a couple items, that would be fantastic. I got the office to myself, so. Okay. All right, sounds good.
Dot. What are you looking for on dot?
Trying to add into long on DOT, to be honest.
Are you in a long, or
Yeah, spot.
did you buy this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's a decent spot. Buy. You should. I suppose. Like what I would say with dot and
Like I added at crow.com, like I bought a bunch like around 5:23. It was like early this morning when I saw your text that we're dumping.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to add into instead of going on internet computer, just go on dot. So I don't know if this is the time right now to add in like a whole bunch, because I already did add a lot at like $5 or something, 550, 560, 570, something like that. Spot, no leverage or anything.
Yeah. To be honest, this thing needs to gain structure. So like I always do this thing, especially when I'm buying spot, because you're doing to accumulate, right? You're not doing it to.
No.
Okay.
Just long run, next year or two.
Okay. So this, I'd say if you've already bought some here, you need to wait for price to go lower. Like if you're adopting a DCA, a dollar cost average strategy, you don't need to keep buying. If you already bought some here, this is not a local buy, especially when you're talking about like an investment, like DCA investment. Because if you start doing that, then within the current day of buying a bag, you're buying more. Now it becomes an actionable trade. Because this thing can easily go all the way back down to $4. I mean, looking at the structure, I think we even outlined like where we. Yeah, it could. It's come down now to test this structure. It could come down to test down to $4.30. If you think from here, up to at least $12 is a reasonable buy, I think it is. I think that's unreasonable to think it won't go back there if they, as long as the project survives. I think it's not a bad idea to buy a bag here. That's fine, but you have a long-term outlook. If you've got some, I'd wait for then price to go lower before I start buying and adding more. Because if you're doing and buying and adding more based off of whatever your percent of like what bag you want to hold, so you need to make sure you have a long-term outlook that reflects how much you're buying at every specific time. Because if you're buying this now, if you bought this spot, or even in here, like that's fine, but if you're 1 to 2 year outlook, understand we could be going into one of the worst bear markets since the Great Depression. It's very possible. All the signs are kind of lining up. All the banks are looking. Some of the European banks specifically are looking at potential failure. This thing could go lose another, down to this. Technically, it could go down to its list price, which is down at, $1 or something, or $2 easily. Could go to zero. Who knows? So even with spot, you need to think that it's not a hold your bag forever. Like the hodl people are retarded. I'm sorry. Like you always set stop losses to where you want to mitigate your risk of your position. If this thing now were to come up and regain the floor, we see some daily SRs being structured around 615. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Listen.
Yeah. So that's what we want to see now. 615, 620. We want to regain to the floor and then start stabbing into some of the heavier liquidity. Regaining stuff that's potential for a trade in the high time frame. Like if your outlook is several year or two out, then you're looking for this to potentially come down even further. Even if it does this, even if it comes up and does this, you're still looking for it to potential round bottom into a potential bull run. That's still price action structure that you could expect to have.
All right, makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's not sexy, but
No, it makes sense. Completely makes sense. Why would that? That would be stupid to go buy more now if it can go down lower.
Well, yeah, it can always go down lower. It could even just send from here, right? But the problem is if you have a 1 to 2 year outlook, if you have a 1 to 2 year outlook, then you're expecting that price action probably comes lower to test some major levels down here.
I'm sorry, guys, to take the time from learning. Go ahead. I'm really sorry, guys. Thanks a lot.
Don't be sorry for asking good questions, man. Let me just check. Yeah. How did you guys short everything? Well, because it failed all the levels. It could come down there. I'm expecting it to hold before that. Even here, I think it's probably at the 9, if I had to be perfectly honest. You can space these out, but those are like for price expansion. Yeah, hold or die completely is probably $2, $2.20. Realistically, probably.
Hold or die? You mean it's either gonna hold at that specific price or it's gonna go like literally to dramatically lows? Is that what that meant right there? That hold or die right there around the $2.
Yeah, that's hold or die. Yeah, that's hold or die. But I don't think that's a real actionable thing. Realistically, you wanted to regain the Q3, which is what I mentioned before. I'm just using this as like an argument to say like what does this massive high time frame fib perfectly overlap with? The September open and the July Q3. So $7. I can get bullish on it if it regains that structure. Like generally bullish, and that's probably the general market. Like at least for some type of pop-up, right? If it comes up here and fails, that's where it's going to fail. If it gains that, right, then you're into this structure and it's potentially going higher. But the problem with DOT is that it's come down so far and it's been making new lows all the way since August. So it looks considerably weaker than everything else in its current price action, plus the current making the new lows. The only thing that is a saving grace is even on the daily is like regaining the floor of the move today. And then this might be the liquidity grab down that we all needed. But we have a decent buyback overall since we started dumping, just not a massive one. People are buying Bitcoin too. Bitcoin dominance is up. That might actually be that did it actually do that? Because the normal markets are actually pretty strong right now. What do you know? Smacked right into it to the dot. Surprise. So we'll see. We'll see if it can regain stuff. I usually watch the S&P to see like a local gauge of the market. But this is a nice buy up, really strong buy up. And then the dollar currency index, it's doing what we said. So this might be the actual pop off on everything. I'm glad I got my longs in. Yeah, they're coming down though. They hit 4%. Even the 30-year, even the 30-year hit 4%. So what do we want to have now? We want, this structure broken, which we haven't. We're holding on it. If we come back up, we want failure in here. And then here's the big make or break. Because 4 hour, I mean, it's only in half an hour from now. 4 hour looks wrecked. So you just don't want to see it regaining the swing on the 4 hour. And like we said, this looks like distribution. This became the liquidity grab. If we had a, again, this is an index, but overall, that's the kind of structure we look at. Anything else? Otherwise, I think I'm going to get out of here in a little pretty soon. Wow, it's a big group of people. Oh, what's the ticker? Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, that is. I don't know why they do that. That's strange as shit. I see. I see this. See, the problem is that they're leaving, because it's a perpetual. They're leaving it open over the weekends. That's why you get these weird. This is all weekend trading when the Dixie's closed. I was like, why is that? That's so freaking strange. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, you can potentially trade the Dixie if you want. That looks pretty decent now. You just can't trade on the weekend or going into the weekend. I would say it's not a good smart idea.
Hey, Viking, is this a good time to look at the funding rates when we have dumps like this on Bitcoin?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we've been checking it. Like, look at the funding now. Like, they're still increasing bullish funding on the 1 hour. On the 15, it's starting to break a little bit, but it's bullish. It's very bullish, and this is the aggregate, right? Like volume based. So anything over negative 0.01 is very bullish funding. Which again, we've had bullish funding now for a while. We're V-bottoming to potentially regain structure. This looks pretty strong. Anything that comes back, we want to make sure that it gains structure above. Ideally, in a perfect world, we wouldn't break below that around 18,730. So we kind of like crust in here as the low time frames reset, and then we step back off, and then this becomes a V-bottom on a daily. Who knows? Maybe I actually longed the bottom for once. No, my main. Yeah. No, I got that actual long on my main, but I'm not about to like do like massive stuff. It's only like 40%. I only got a 40% fill anyways, and only at 2 of my 5. Let's see. Nah. It's too good of a buyback, and it's got the macro higher low. Realistically, you had it back when we started streaming normally. Was the test above? Yeah. I'd be very scared to short when everything else is getting a buyback right now. If it starts failing the daily open, you could probably almost at the daily open failure take it at least down to that. This thing's so freaking volatile, man. I don't know how you trade this and don't like die of a heart attack. Really loose stop? Maybe if it starts losing this, because it looks like it wants to just start coming down. Ideally, I mean, a better short in my mind, like, yeah, you can short the failure there, but looking at the structure that it prints out, like typically if we just reverse it, like ideally this thing, comes there and then goes off one last time before it gets like bought back and then lose the daily. Like I like another quick sweep into the high structure here and then failure. Oh, but yeah, but it's also being heavily manipulated because it's basically garbage. Like it's the same reason why I've been trading Luna Classic with some guys. We're basically just manipulating the price. It's a very small market cap, and it's a dead coin. It has no value at all. But I've also bought into this thing the first time back, after this thing dumped and before it split. I bought a shit ton of Luna because it was funny. I was like, I'm a Luna multimillionaire. Yeah, it was funny. I did it for the lulz. Yeah. That was. I mean, that's exactly what it was, though. Yeah, I know. Too much fun. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing in these things. You got to be really careful with it. Let me just see what Crow's doing because I still have a bag of this that I've gotten myself back into. Ugh. A small bag. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Matt Damon, but they've switched their investment now away from that. They've already filmed all their promotional stuff that they can re-add and reuse and recycle. So now they've got into the FTX world where they're sponsoring all different type of stuff. Like FTX is heavily into baseball, as an example, in the US, and then Crow is also. Are they in F1? I think they're in F1, like Formula One. McLaren, I want to say. Not quite sure. But this buyback looks good. The normal markets are buying back real heavy and hard. So I think someone panicked. I think everyone's panicking a bit. Yeah, look at that. It's literally back at the level we wanted to see it. Which I don't know why I didn't mark that as a swing. It is a swing. And it's breaking above it. So this is good. If the markets can come up here, like we're almost right on the cusp of it. If the markets can get above this low by the end of week and close, then this entire thing will bullishly deviate, I think. Might take the start of the next week, but then we get weekly bullish divergence, and then we start the actual thing. Again, I'm not going to like FOMO into it or anything. I've got a couple of longs, nothing too crazy. I'd rather buy on the confirmation and retest the structure, but that looks pretty damn good right now. Just rejecting the weekly. Anything else? Anything else going on? Oh, we got a bunch of people in here. What's up, Mr. Bing? How you doing, sir? Just lurking in the background. But some of the changes that are coming as well are the trend dots for the oscillator and the yellow dots as well. They're going to be alert function, so you can actually set alerts for like, hey, we have daily trend change on Bitcoin or the S&P or whatever. They're usually pretty significant when they happen, especially higher time frames, and then also with the core signals. By the way, core signals, we're going to have to do a name change on it. It's going to be core trend, just because apparently we've tried to run some ads and some marketing stuff, and apparently the algos hate the word signal. So Nothing that can be done about it. It is what it is. So we're going to have to change that. But what was the other thing? Let me check. It was. Yeah, but I don't know about that. That's Smolio's bag. He's pushing those things. I think. I don't really know. I have no idea. He's and oh yeah, and the other. Sorry, I don't know about when the update exactly is going to happen. I'll have to check with him. But the other thing too was the funding rates for crypto. We're going to build alerts so you can actually get alert settings when the value goes up, like crossing, like reversing, for example, and like a high time frame reversal of funding, which like it's important, 4-hour daily, that type of stuff. But also when the funding gets over negative 0.01 or negative 0.02, and it'll be like bullish funding or extremely bullish funding. So we can see that, hey, like even if the markets are going down and they're moving, like they're increasing the funding, right? That gives us a perspective to say like, oh, geez, they're actually increasing the funding as we're going down. And they haven't pulled it on the 1 hour yet. They've moved it up on the 15-minute, I'm sure, a little bit. So a couple updates and alerts. Some of the free indicators also are going to get a little bit of an update, and then the other ones that are going to be fixed is that the premium on-chain one is getting worked on also. It's going to be like a bundle of things, so it'll be really cool.
Hey, hey, buddy.
What's
Can you get a chance just show me or send me the affiliate link?
For what?
The affiliate link for Trendmaster.
Oh, you have one automatically if you check your email. You should have an affiliate link.
Oh, okay.
When you signed up. Otherwise, I'll push another thing if there's an issue. Otherwise, I'll add another one. There's a couple guys who had issues with that. I put it in the chat.
I didn't even.
Yeah, he's fixing that right now. He's fixing the reversion stuff. Yeah, I totally get it.
Hey, does the website got any? Is there any way that you can have it translated to French and add Arabic as well?
That's something we haven't looked into so much yet, but it's a very good point to do that.
I am being very honest with you. I have a bunch of people that I grew up with in my hometown from my mother's side and my father's side, France, Bordeaux, and Casablanca, Morocco. And I'm telling you, your system pleases a lot of people because I spend a lot of time explaining to them how it works. And the only problem is, like, spend a lot of time, translating in English, and the translation sometimes doesn't hit the spot if it's done professionally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh. Absolutely.
So I at least a dozen people that are like looking into your stuff, but they only hesitant because of the whole English barrier. So keep that in mind.
I will absolutely.
Bro, I asked for anybody that speaks French and nobody said anything. Okay, and I speak Arabic fluently, so we can add that to the mix if anybody from the if one that runs some ads for the Middle East or North Africa or Asia, some countries that speak Arabic, I can help with the translation as well. Count me in.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Definitely looking into all that.
I do that. Dude, I do that on the side without even knowing. Like I would be the screen recordings. I would teach my friends like how Americans view investing, because not a lot of them the insides of how this shit works. So when I tell them about liquidation and trend change and funding and all of that, and core signals, when I show them that it flashes when you're supposed to get in and things like that, they got mind blown. I've showed them the website. I'm pretty sure I can send you a link to where I have some of your videos on my Facebook page. So yeah, I do push your items on my friends just because it's very helpful. I wish I've known you for a year ago or something.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really appreciate it. That's what we're trying to do, man. Is trying to fix the space a lot. Is just because there's so much dog shit out there. That was honestly, like, I'm not even kidding you, dude. Like when Will and I have only known each other for like 2+ years, and that was the time. The reason that we got so mad was that we saw all these people, like, you know, the big names on YouTube and stuff, who are all getting cracked down on hard now, but literally lying, scamming, and cheating, and that continued during the entire bull run. And like, it's so freaking frustrating that I don't even know how to explain.
Would you have some kind of legal consequences if you put the name out of those people, and like in a website where traders go to get some kind of information, and like say, hey, do not listen to these people?
Not if I don't want to get sued, because they'll sue you for we'll sue you for libel.
Okay, yeah, that's liability.
Because that's literally what they do. That's what, like, I mean, I can mention. I mean, the BitBoy as an example. He has sued people who basically called him out before, and one guy quietly settled with an NDA where she couldn't talk about anything, and then another guy almost got sued by BitBoy, and then he basically put it publicly to said, hey, I'm getting sued by BitBoy, and it became a whole scandal because, you know, these people shilling all of these different coins, and like saying he was shilling something called Pamp Coin or Pump Coin, literally shilling a rug pull scam, a rug scam. And you know, think about the people. If he gets 30,000-40,000 plus views, at least some of his videos are hundreds of thousands of people. You're talking about, you know, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars that people have been scammed out of by listening to these scam artists that don't really know what they're talking about. They just talk about the space, because to a layman, people who haven't been trading, the stuff we talk about, like talking about liquidations and funding, it doesn't make sense to anybody. Like, especially even like new traders, it's hard to get people to understand what's going on. And that's what they target. They target the new blood and just suck them dry before they can even, you know, have a chance to make any money.
The only thing that works there is a baseball bat.
Yeah, so he basically.
Here's the thing: you get legal consequences if you call them out. But what about the people that got scammed out, and you know there is no consequences for him?
That's the thing. That's the thing, though. They're actually, because I think he's based in the U.S. There's a guy also who's been charged now by the SEC, Ian Molina. He was kind of a big name in the space many years ago. He's kind of like going under the radar now, but years ago he was a big name and everybody knew about him. He got charged a couple of weeks ago, and then I think they're going to crack down on everybody really, really hard. They have to. The only ones who are going to get escape from that are basically the crypto nomad group, like the big ones, like MM and all these other ones who are like living in Dubai and like, yeah, exactly. They no, God no, but they're you know, they've gotten, you can buy residency in like these other countries. You can buy a visa, you can buy citizenship, so they escape it, which they have the money to do. Some of these guys are making, like, I know, like MM was making at one point, like, I think $50,000 a day or more. I think Moon, he was making at one point during the bull run. He posted like I saw a slip from it, and from when Will went to Dubai, it was like over $500,000 a day, just off ref links and like shilling stuff and like, oh, trade max leverage, that type of shit.
Have you guys ever paid attention to some Telegram groups where they target those coins where they pump and dump it in plain sight for everyone to see?
Yeah, they're complete scams. Because
I'm like, how is this fucking legal? I mean, how is this?
Well, Yeah, but the problem it's a two-part problem. Like, A, crypto is not a regulated space in the vast majority of the world, and B, it's because of that it's the Wild West. It attracts those of us who are in it because we can, there's quite a bit of volatility and stuff that can happen. The problem with the pump, like those pump signal stuff, like we're gonna, pay, $100 a month or whatever it is, and we're gonna give you access to our pump coins. And it's like we're gonna tell you 5 minutes before we tell, the rest of the public what the pump is. So this is really what's going on, right? And I'll because this is the only way to explain it with those pump groups and why they're complete scams. So
Yeah,
in a pump, but here's the thing: if in a pump group, this is you. This is you as, and let's say you're a member, right? And this is the public group, and then here's the conspirators, the cheaters. Like this is the scammers, right? So this is the way these pump groups work, and this is the scam groups. The scammers, they have enough liquidity and money that they actually buy and sell coins. But what they'll do is like 2-3+ weeks leading up to when they release something to the public, right? They'll start accumulating some super low volatility, low volume coin that's listed on Binance. And there's a shit ton, or thousands. I don't even know how many there are. But there's hundreds of them. These low volatility, they're basically dead coins. So they'll spend like 2-3 weeks, even a month plus, and accumulate this stuff down here. Then what they'll do is they'll say, "Hey, you pay me, $100 a month or whatever, and I'll give you a 5-minute head start before I release this stuff to the public." You thinking you're smart, you could still make money potentially, because when they say, "Hey, we're pumping this coin, you have 5 minutes," and then you buy this coin, and then they release it to the public, which is like a Telegram group of however many thousand people, hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands, and then they're like, "This is the pump coin," and these guys automatically win. You're gonna get probably caught out and lost eventually. These guys are exit liquidity. All of their money is being stolen because as the price goes up, that hits the initial sellers' limits, and they're exiting, making big profits. Who's paid for the monthly or the premium version of that, might get some, and then the public, they're still buying in as these guys start selling, and then it just goes and the flat lines again. That's exactly what those things are. There's nothing else to it.
Which exactly what happened to CTC, that coin that we looked at a couple of days ago, which is I shorted the shit out of it until the 200 EMA. I was a fucking pump and dump. I was like, okay, I caught it right there. I'm still waiting for it to go all the way down. What you said, the December or the fucking weekly open. It's just like Doge the other time. Remember when I was like, everybody was like, I'm taking Doge to 0. This is 2. I'm taking it all the way to the 200 EMA as far as the 4 hour.
Yeah, we'll see if it gains this. It could gain this locally on the.
No, I don't. No, I swear. I know this is back in the day. This is what happened to me when I first started getting scammed by those people. Now I don't even look. There's just stuff like I reminisce about, and try to have people that I know avoid doing, because all of it, 99.9999%, is just scams. Yeah. Scam City right there, Telegram.
Yep. Yeah, WhatsApp is another scam thing now. Yes, we'll see. This if you
baseball bet.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's been really fun, but I got to get out of here. I've been streaming for like 4 hours now, but really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.